how can the scribes maintain that the Christ is the Son of David? If you remember the Gospels of the last few days, in all of them we find people coming to Jesus with the questions. Question about Caesar and God, question about life after death, then about what is the greatest commandment, yesterday's Gospel. Today the Lord is the one who is asking the question. And very interesting indeed. The Lord is challenging the assumptions of the people around him. The Lord will always challenge our assumptions too about him. One thing is sure, if you think you understand God, you haven't got it. Here you see, for the Jews, the common title for the Messiah was Son of David. Because of their circumstance, they're waiting for a second David, one who is more powerful than King David. So they assumed the Messiah will be Son of David, who will overthrow the Romans and give them freedom. So they gave the title, Messiah will be Son of David. Of course, Jesus came in the lineage of David, but he was not the son of David. The only person who calls him son of David is Bartimaeus, the blind man, and the Lord has told him to shut up. The Lord never, because that was not the truth. Here the Lord asked them the question, what did David himself say about the Messiah? Forget about what you assume. What did David himself say about them? He called the coming Messiah my Lord. It means the Messiah would not be his son, but his Lord. God himself. God himself. So now let us think about our own assumptions about God. We assume, I think I said yesterday or day before, we create God in our own image. Based on our limited understanding and experience of life, we create God in our own image. We create heaven also with our earthly understanding of life, though heaven would be, no more suffering and floating around like angels. No, we create our own earthly image of heaven. How can you imagine something you have no experience of? How can you think of God because we haven't it with our limited understanding and brain? How can we even imagine who God is? It is like when you are looking at an artist at work. The artist knows what he is doing. But those who are standing around the artist and watching the creation in process, in between, how can you be sure what the last picture is going to be? But we dare think, I think he is having a stroke this way, a stroke that way, so this must be a butterfly? No. That looks like a snake? No. So depending on looking at what we see in front of our eyes, we create all kind of assumptions. Be sure all our assumptions are absolutely wrong. They have to be wrong, because how can we be sure with our limited understanding of God what God is up to? May I say it again. How can we be sure about what God is up to with our limited understanding of God? We have a very limited image of God. Even the picture of Jesus in all the Gospels, do you think they are complete? John said, after writing all that, if I write everything about him, the earth would not be big enough to contain them. What John is saying is, I am not able to articulate everything about the Lord I have seen and touched and experienced. I can't. So how can we have an assumption about God? So the point I'm making is, never ask the question why. Never ask the question why God. Always say, wow, God. Wow. Mysteries? Wow. Sufferings? Wow. Not why? Wow. I don't understand. This tragedy has happened. There's no why. I'm trying to understand, but I won't understand. Who am I to understand it? Who am I to understand it? That's why the Lord has said, unless you become like children. Unless you become like children, only sense of wonder. Sense of wonder. Because why comes from the mind that assumes why this is happening. Doesn't make any sense, not logical. Again, from the brain, the why comes. From the heart of the child, wow. That's why St. Augustine said, I believe so that I may understand. I believe first so that I may understand. Don't go the other way. Don't try to understand. You believe and then you will understand. The understanding may come not even in this life, because the artist will finish the job not in our lifetime.